Imagine this. You're standing in front of a room full of people, about to deliver a presentation. All eyes are on you. You have their full attention. Now, this could either go two ways. You can completely bomb this, bore them, you lose their attention, their focus, whatever. Or you're able to inspire them, be able to grab their attention and hold it there throughout your entire presentation. Now, to empower individuals, you have to be aware of what you are speaking about. Now, two key components, I believe, on giving presentations that need to be a big necessity is being able to have passion and being able to have humor in your presentations. Now, with that being said, as I had stated before, passion is one of the really big things on giving a good presentation. If you are not passionate about something and not, if you're speaking it, rather it's speaking it, playing a sport, just your job, you're not going to enjoy it. It's going to be obvious. By being passionate, you have to be able to enjoy it. And if you're not passionate, you can easily see it off of you. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show this clip of Elizabeth Gilbert.
A writer. Writing books is my profession, but it's more than that, of course. It is also my great lifelong love and fascination. And I don't expect that that's ever going to change. But that said, something kind of peculiar has happened recently in my life and in my career, which has caused me to have to sort of recalibrate my whole relationship with this work. And the peculiar thing is that I recently wrote this book, this memoir called Eat, Pray, Love, which decidedly, unlike any of my previous books, went out in the world for some reason and became this big mega sensation, international bestseller thing, the result of which is that everywhere I go now, people treat me like I'm doomed. Seriously, doomed. Like, they come up to me now, like, all worried, and they say, aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid you're never going to be able to top that? Aren't you afraid you're going to keep writing for your whole life and you're never again going to create a book that anybody in the world cares about at all, ever again? So that's reassuring, you know. But it would be worse, except for that I happen to remember that over 20 years ago, when I first started telling people when I was a teenager that I wanted to be a writer, I was met with this same kind of sort of fear-based reaction, and people...
Now, after that clip, I hope you can understand and see what I saw. Elizabeth spoke with passion about writing and her career, and how she doesn't care about what people would say to her. Now, transitioning into another. Here's a quote. You cannot inspire others unless you are inspired yourself. By Carmine Gallo. This quote caught my attention, as it's very obvious that if you yourself are not all in whatever you are doing, if you really truly don't care about what you are doing, if it doesn't catch your attention, if it can't grab your focus, and if you cannot put your energy to it, then no one else will be able to. Being able to be not only a leader, but being able to inspire others is something not a lot of people can do. Now that I transition out of talking about passion, I'm going to talk a little bit about another really big thing that I feel like makes or breaks presentations. Humor. Now, it's something so simple and something that you're probably could be like, well, it doesn't need to be funny if it's a serious matter. Well, yeah, I agree. But would your audience? At the same time, being able to incorporate humor in your presentations could honestly make or break it. Yes, passion is another really big thing, obviously, but there's a lot of presentations that are really important, eye-catching, and talk about serious matters, yet incorporate humor because it engages your audience. If you're transitioning between one thing to another, maybe a joke is a good thing to talk about. Being able to have them laugh and then refocus in on your next subject is something that a lot of people don't do, but yeah, I seem to believe that that's one of the most effective matters. For example, in this clip I'm about to show, Sir Ken Robinson's talk is filled with a ton of humor. And this is just a little bit from the introduction, where it's something that is kind of off topic because his talk is about how to escape education's Death Valley. Yeah, he was talking about the British here, make a joke about the British as he continues and will continue in his presentation to talk about the education. But he will do it with jokes in between as it will make them laugh to keep them more engaged. If you rather have them laughing them on their phone or talking to someone else, if they're laughing at the joke and then refocusing right back into you, it gives you time to transition and being able to just continue on to the next thing. So here's a clip.
Americans don't get irony. Have you come across this idea? It's not true. I've travelled a whole length and breadth of this country. I have found no evidence that Americans don't get irony. It's one of those cultural myths, like the British are reserved. I don't know why people think this. We've invaded every country we've encountered.
Him making his audience laugh. Further on in the video, he does continue to make his audience laugh. He is a classic example of how humor can be efficiently used in presentations to engage with his audience and convey important messages. Being able to talk about himself and him and his whatever it could be. Being able to get his audience engaged with him to understand what message he's about to give. Now, I'm going to read this quote. Laughter is the most important, most powerful force for Democrats. Now, I'm going to read this quote. Laughter is the most powerful force for democracy. Jon Stewart. In his TED Talk, Jon Stewart, Why I Quit My Dream Job in Television. Now, in this talk, Jon Stewart discusses the role of humor, particularly satire, in fostering critical thinking and powerful power to account in society. He highlights the importance of humor as a tool for addressing serious issues and promoting dialogue, making a strong case for the power of laughter in shaping social and political discourse. Now, with his little jokes in his TED Talk, it was able again to make the audience get engaged as they were laughing, for them being able to not just sit there serious the entire time. Them laughing is something that is able to just bring them in and make them feel like they're a part of it.
Overall, I hope that you guys enjoyed my presentation about passion and humor and how crucial they are to the presentations, and as they engage with the audience and enhance community, lighten the atmosphere, and just passion infuses energy, also creates a welcoming one, breaks tension. Overall, I think these are two really big components to presentations and just a lot of just working together. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation.